Let's cut to it. You're eating clean, you're working out, you're doing everything the experts tell you, and yet you still feel sluggish, foggy, distracted. You feel like shit. Like your brain is stuck in a haze while the world moves at full speed. So let me be brutally honest. The fact that you're doing everything right and still fighting brain fog isn't your fault, but there's a reason for it. And I want to dive into really how to end this battle. And I just want to give you the truth, the science, and ultimately the solution to get your focus back. No fluff, just results. So let's dive into it. What no one really talks about is that you can eat all the kale or all the best foods in the world, crush your workouts, and you can still feel mentally fried. Like you're missing key pieces of this puzzle. And trust me, those pieces are honestly hiding in plain sight. So there's really some hidden triggers of brain fog. And the first one is mental overload. Your brain really isn't designed to handle 200 tabs that are open, both literally and figuratively. So these constant notifications, endless multitasking, and a never-ending to-do list just fry your cognitive function faster than junk food really ever could. So what do you do about it? Well, what I recommend, and this is in all honesty what I do and what helps me out, is I set digital boundaries. So I do 20-minute, 25-minute focus blocks, and I turn off essentially my phone, my non-essential notifications. So I give my brain a space to breathe, whether I'm doing that while I'm working or not working. I just make sure there's time in the day that multitasking or that the digital stress has a period of where it's not doing it. Trick number two, I talk about this a lot, is blood sugar roller coasters. So yes, you may be eating healthy, but if your meals are not balanced, you can have low blood sugar and rapid spikes of blood sugar, which will leave you feeling sluggish no matter how clean your food is. So what do I mean by that? Let's say you have a spinach smoothie that's loaded with essentially just sugars and carbohydrates. Yeah, the sugars are coming from fruits, but it's just all carbohydrates. There might be a lot of nutrients in there, but with no carbs and fats, you're going to be crashing soon after that. So the solution is that every meal needs to be as balanced as best as possible. So every meal should have proteins, fats, and carbohydrates to really stabilize your blood sugar and stabilize your focus. And the third trigger that I've really seen and noticed is poor recovery. So the truth is, no amount of eating right, cardio can make up for bad sleep and zero downtime. If your brain doesn't recover, it's going to rebel. And that will look like and feel like brain fog. So the solution to that is prioritize deep sleep hygiene or good quality sleep. So when you look at your room, make sure it's cold and dark. You have a consistent wake time and bedtime, and no blue light, no screens an hour before bed. And also don't skip any rest days. You can only go so hard before your body's crashing. And what you may notice first is your brain is actually crashing instead of your actual musculature. Your mind and your body need that rest to rebuild. So let's talk about brain chemistry. Focus isn't just mental willpower, it's really biochemical. So if you're low on neurotransmitters, your brain's fuel tank is going to be empty. And that key player number one, again, which I've mentioned many times before, is dopamine. Yes, it deals with motivation, and that has a lot to do with your drive and your focus. Dopamine fuels that ambition. So if you're constantly being distracted, your dopamine's low, you're going to there's a good chance that a symptom of that is that brain fog. So what can really help with that is action can create dopamine. So what I mean by that is break those big, massive goals that you're trying to go after into smaller, tiny wins and celebrate them. Also, certain foods can help with dopamine as well. Like think of eggs, salmon, and some dark chocolate. Key player number 2 is acetylcholine. That helps with memory and learning. So it keeps your thoughts sharp. And if you're low in those levels, forgetfulness and fog can creep in. So again, looking at foods that can really potentially help with that are healthy fats coming from avocados, nuts, omega-3s, and you can also just supplement choline for an extra boost. So we have the triggers, we have what's going on chemically in the brain, but now let's look at the actual stress cycle. So stress obviously isn't just draining, it can actually be addictive. And when your cortisol stays elevated, your body gets trapped in this loop of anxiety and fatigue, which can, you guessed it, lead to more brain fog. So we want to break that cycle up of that constant anxiety and fatigue. So when we look at the morning, yes, we want to create a morning routine, not something that's like 4 hours long of all these ridiculous things. No, it's got to be, concise, short, and effective to get you on your day. So what I like to do is I'll wake up, really get some light onto me. Yes, you can get specific lights like UV lights to help with that. But honestly, I just go to the bathroom, turn the light on to kind of wake me up. And then maybe I'll do some light stretching in the morning. I drink a lot of water and I'll do some mindfulness work, maybe some like day planning, breathing work, really just get my mindset right instead of immediately into chaos, which could be going on your phone, doom scrolling, you name it. Another one that I really like to do, I'll get ice water and stick my face in it. As crazy as that sounds, it literally just wakes me up. And cold has been shown to really help with adrenaline and dopamine as well. I will say though, it's not going to be as effective as like a ice bath, but submerging my face in ice does have some benefit for me. Something you can do in the middle of the day is midday walks. I've previous videos, I've talked about this so many times. A 10 to 20-minute walk outside can really help lower cortisol and really help reset your brain. The sunlight, just getting some fresh air. And then at the end of the day, a wind down ritual, something, a routine that just helps you shut down. So, as it's getting closer to bedtime, you start dimming the lights, maybe you're reading something relaxing. And ultimately, it's just giving your brain a chance to power down instead of just getting right into bed and the anxiety is still running nonstop. So, some moves we can do to kind of reset your focus. Essentially, look at this as kind of like your plan, your battle plan, to really help, boost the clarity for your brain, reset your brain in what you're doing. So, if you're feeling mentally cluttered, again, I'm just sharing what I like to do when I have my clients do, is I'll grab a notebook. Because a lot of times, and I'll write down, like I'll dump, mind dump everything into the notebook. Because a lot of times when it's just running in there, we can get, it can really cause that angst or give us that mental clutter. And writing it down can actually help get it out of your head. No filters, no edits, just word vomit into that notebook. That could potentially help improving focus in the moment. Another thing that I don't think a lot of people talk about is using caffeine with a strategy. So I'm not saying quit caffeine. I actually use caffeine, but in a precise way. So drink smart. Caffeine on an empty stomach in the morning has been shown to boost cortisol a bit more. Pair it with some food, hydrate right before and after, and maybe use it 20 minutes before you're actually going to do something, you know, work-wise with your brain, or physically. But it's that, can improve cognitive function. So using it before you actually need to sit down and do work can help as well, rather than obviously just drinking coffee day in and day out on an empty stomach. Balance, honestly, with this, balance is key. You got to find what works best for you. But it's just something to think about. And then micro movements. So yes, I'm sitting in a chair, but sitting in a chair for 8 to 10 hours a day, it's your blood flow to the brain is going to be essentially gone. So maybe every 30 minutes, every hour, stand up, stretch, move, even if it's just for 5 minutes, even if it's just for a minute, can make a huge difference and really sharpen your focus. So let's look at the bigger picture. Just remember, we don't want our brain to feel like your enemy. It's, in all honesty, it's your greatest, literally your greatest asset. And when you have brain fog, that's your body, your brain, literally asking for a reset, not punishment. So when we combine clean eating, smart moving, strategic recovery, that's really your foundation for mental clarity that nothing can shake. So if you're doing everything right, but you're still struggling with that brain fog, don't beat yourself up, but don't settle either. You're not here to live in a haze. You're here to thrive. You're here to get results. So think about starting today with one small shift, whether it's better sleep, breathing exercise, or just balancing your meals. But choose one and watch that build. And when that becomes normal, throw in another and throw in another. And if you're ready to take this a little bit further, just hit that subscribe button below. And this is where the end of the brain fog can start. And this is where you can step into that unstoppable focus and energy. Catch you next time.